for their joint press briefing. Ladies and gentlemen, the briefing is following or a culmination of the bilateral political consultations between the Republic of Kenya and the Republic of Colombia. Your Excellency, sir, most welcome.
Thank you. Please be seated. Your Excellency, Madam Vice President, Francia, Marquez, Mina, I'm delighted to host you and your delegation to the maiden trip to our country and to Africa. President William Ruto, the government and the people of Kenya warmly welcome you. This is home, the land of hustlers. Karibu sana. Madam Vice President, I believe it is not too late in the day to congratulate you and President Gustavo Petro on your historic election last year. Your Excellency, this visit is very exciting. It is equally significant. Here is why. A girl child from the generation of African slaves and freedom fighters rose from a housekeeper to the second most powerful office in the first leftist government of Colombia. From a tender age, you have created and sustained a legacy of fighting for the freedom and the dignity of the people. You are indeed a real hustler. Your visit comes a few months after elections in Colombia and Kenya. Both elections were entrenched in the deep desire for change, focused on uplifting and dignifying the people at the bottom of the pyramid. Our people embraced the conversation that it was time to dignify the hustler in Kenya and the nobodies in Colombia. They identified with our humble background and trusted us with leadership. Our President, Dr. William Ruto, who sold chicken to make ends meet, wore shoes for the first time in high school. I grew up in abject poverty. My body was heavily invested with jiggers and lice. But here we are today. We have a huge mandate to transform the lives of our people until dignity becomes the norm for the hustlers and the nobodies of our countries. Your visit has accorded us an excellent opportunity to exchange views on several bilateral and multilateral issues and areas of mutual interest. Kenya and Colombia have continued to enjoy warm and cordial relations, holding long-standing historical bonds of friendship, which exist through various bilateral, regional, and multilateral forums. I wish to take note of the endeavors of the Republic of Kenya and the Republic of Colombia towards transforming the lives of their citizens at the bottom of society and the achievement of sustainable development goals. This development model will accelerate the intention of our countries to incorporate the poor into the mainstream economy and will enhance our ability to tackle complex domestic and global challenges. Your Excellency, Madam Vice President, during your campaign, your slogan was, "It is time for the nobodies," which resonates with our hustler conversation. Our government is committed and will remain a true representative of the hustlers. We shall also endeavor to enhance our impact in development and implementing effective strategies aimed at enhancing inclusive economic progress that target the hustlers and the nobodies. I wish to recall that from our first participation in Colombia briefing at the UN Security Council during the 2021-2022 period, Kenya lobbied for inclusivity as a fundamental pillar on which to build the peace in Colombia. We particularly called for the implementation of the ethnic chapter in the peace agreement to ensure that the rights of Afro-Colombians and indigenous communities are safeguarded. As the UN's Committee on the Elimination of Racial Discrimination puts it, Afro-Colombians face persistent structural and historical discrimination. This has resulted in entrenched poverty and political and economic exclusion. In this manner, we observed that Afro-Colombian circumstances largely reflected the experience of our brothers and sisters in America. Your Excellency, on bilateral relations, Kenya wishes to enhance cooperation with Colombia in a number of fields, such as training in Spanish, education scholarships, healthcare, culture, knowledge sharing, South-South cooperation, and engagements in the multilateral arena. Our government is committed to further increase a two-way trade and investment cooperation between Kenya and Colombia by focusing on economic and commercial programs and promotion of business interactions between our two countries, ranging from MSME sector and private sector and business management organizations. Our political consultations have explored the need to establish direct flights between the two countries, which will be an enabler for trade and investment for people-to-people contact. I wish to take note of the ongoing technical meetings which have concluded review for two memorandum of understanding which we have signed today. These are the MOU on the Joint Commission of Cooperation and the MOU on Gender Equality and Women Empowerment. Discussions are ongoing to conclude the MOU on sports cooperation and 6 declarations, namely the Declaration of Intent in Promotion of Spanish Language, Declaration of Intent on Sustainable Trade and Investment, Declaration of Intent on Higher Education, Declaration of Intent on Energy and Mining, Declaration of Intent on Promotion of Tourism, and Declaration on Intent on Promotion of Culture. Your government's assistance through provision of technical support in health, the use of bamboo as an affordable housing material, cooperation in technical, vocational, and education, training, culture, and most importantly, technical cooperation in the coffee sector will go a long way in enabling Kenya attain her development institutions. We look forward to partnering with Colombia in creating linkages between Africa, diaspora in the Caribbean, Latin America, and North America regions. In conclusion, Your Excellency, we are glad that the government of Colombia has invited our Chief Justice and the President of the Supreme Court, Lady Justice Mada Kome, and the Governor of Homa Bay County, the Honorable Gladys Wanga, to represent us at the International Day of Afro-Descendant Women in Bogota on July 25th, 2023. Your Excellency, I also accept your invitation to visit the Republic of Colombia with a huge delegation from the coffee subsector to learn from the people of Colombia on the success of the coffee subsector. Your Excellency, I have explained to you the coffee subsector was very thriving in the 70s and 80s, but has gone down due to intervention by middlemen who have come in between the coffee producer and the consumer. His Excellency the President, in his Executive Order number 1 of 2023, bestowed upon me the responsibility to champion coffee reforms. I'll therefore be more than happy to visit your beautiful country to discuss matters coffee and to learn the beautiful experiences of the Colombian coffee farmer and be able to come and practice it here in Kenya. Finally, I affirm Kenya's commitment to working closely with the government of the Republic of Colombia in deepening our relations for mutual benefit of our people. Asanteni sana. Please, Your Excellency and your delegation enjoy the Kenyan hospitality. God bless Kenya. God bless Colombia. Your Excellency.
Thank you. Muchas gracias, Su Excelencia, señor Vicepresidente Rigati Gachagua. Gracias a la nación keniana por recibirnos en esta delegación de visita oficial del gobierno de Colombia. Para mí y para mi país es un honor estar aquí visitando, reencontrándonos como diásporas afrodescendientes, reconectándonos con la tierra de nuestros ancestros y ancestras. Este momento, un momento histórico para Colombia, del primer gobierno progresista desde que se fundó el Estado Social de Derecho, y por supuesto un gobierno progresista liderado por dos líderes, nuestro presidente Gustavo Petro, que ha luchado toda la vida por la justicia social y que extiende los brazos para cooperar con los pueblos que tenemos historias similares, historias en común, y por supuesto extiende los brazos para fortalecer las relaciones de cooperación sur-sur. Por eso estamos aquí en Kenia, pero nuestra apuesta es la articulación con todo el continente africano. Vicepresidente, me alegra mucho saber que usted y yo tenemos historias en común, historias similares, compartidas, de resistencias compartidas, pero también historias de herencias, ¿sí?, de abuelos y abuelas, de sangres africanas, de afrodescendientes que hoy se juntan para seguir construyendo nación, para seguir construyendo país, para seguirnos fortaleciendo entre naciones, entre pueblos. Efectivamente hemos tenido un recorrido, hemos viajado desde Colombia. Nuestra primera visita fue en Gabón, una visita muy rápida, donde saludamos al gobierno de este país. Nuestra segunda visita fue Sudáfrica, donde estuvimos, al igual que aquí, en diálogos de cooperación con el gobierno sudafricano, y hoy llegamos a Kenia para trabajar de la mano de su gobierno acciones, programas, proyectos que contribuyan al bienestar de los kenianos y asimismo de los colombianos. Hemos tenido la mañana de hoy una mesa de consultas políticas, colocando sobre la mesa puntos de interés y de acuerdo de cooperación mutua. Entre tantos, la paz total ha sido uno de los temas que hemos colocado sobre la mesa. Sabemos que Kenia, al igual que Colombia, ha tenido conflictos internos que el liderazgo, el diálogo han ayudado a resolver, proceso que también continuamos haciendo en Colombia. Hemos discutido entonces de acuerdos desde el arte, la cultura y los saberes, intercambios que reconstruyan y recuperen la memoria de los y las afrodescendientes en articulación con el continente africano. En esos diálogos hemos acordado memorandos de entendimientos para hacer que la dignidad se haga costumbre y para contribuir a la paz desde el arte, desde la cultura. Como ya hemos dicho, queremos que artistas, sabedores, cultores visiten Colombia y viceversa. Queremos que colombianos visiten Kenia y su cultura y su diversidad. Asimismo, en términos del turismo, se ha firmado un memorando de entendimiento para el fortalecimiento del turismo sostenible del turismo ecológico y comunitario, reconociendo la experiencia que tiene África en el turismo comunitario, pero sobre todo que tiene Kenia, que para nosotros es de gran agrado, y agradecemos la disposición de ustedes de acompañar a nuestro país en el desarrollo del turismo para la vida, del turismo para la paz. Hemos ofrecido nuestro apoyo al gobierno de Kenia en la transmisión de saberes y conocimientos en prácticas como el desarrollo productivo del café. Experiencia que por supuesto la colocamos al servicio de los productores.
We are, of course, very glad to put at the entire disposal of the Kenyan government as well as Kenyan coffee growing men and women technology, transmission, sharing.
El comercio del café, con ello generando empleo, generando desarrollo, generando bienestar
Prosperity,
para los kenianos.
well-being for all Kenyan men and women.
Hemos asumido que trabajaremos en términos
Take a note of the fact that we will work on
intercambio
knowledge exchange
sobre la transformación de la guadua para la construcción de las viviendas. Para ello, el SENA, el Servicio Nacional de Aprendizaje, estará en estas mesas de cooperación, entendiendo que es la entidad que técnicamente ha transmitido esos conocimientos en nuestro país y que estamos en la disposición de que sean transmitidos a Kenia y que eso fortalezca la construcción de las viviendas de manera sostenible. En términos de educación, me lleno de...
In terms of education, I am truly excited by the fact that linguistic exchange will be the object of one of our agreements, and Kenya will help our citizens learn Swahili. And Colombia is, of course, willing to continue sharing our beautiful Spanish language with all Kenyan women and men. As I said in the meeting, be the first student to learn Kiswahili myself, honoring my African roots, which is fundamental for the recovery of our ethnic and cultural identity. Similarly, the exchange of scholarships. Colombia has offered a number of scholarships to Kenyan students so that they can go to our country for graduate programs as well as master's degree. And we similarly would very much like Colombian students to come to Kenya and learn from you. Learn your knowledge and the wisdom of your academics. We have also agreed on something very important, and as a woman, this is of course very important to me, which is the need to work jointly between Colombia and Kenya on the rights to equality for women and between men and women. As a woman, I can tell you that I am determined to keep collaborating with international partners in order to further guarantee access to rights, equality and dignity for women in Kenya and Colombia. We have talked about strengthening our connections, airline connections in particular, to strengthen our cooperation, economic trade and tourism ties. Our president has sent a message to Kenya and to the African continent, which is that of jointly working on climate change issues. And we very concretely propose to work on debt swaps in exchange for climate action. Foreign debt swaps in exchange for climate action. We know that we will not be able to tackle the challenges of climate change if we don't have the funding to do that. And the foreign debts of our countries must be worked on so that we can jointly support our nations which are suffering large amounts of loss and damage. We have just gone through a series of floods over the last few months in our country, and we are aware that you are faced with droughts in Kenya. Together, we can do more. And I am, of course, very pleased to know that you're working on that with France, along with Barbados. And we are totally willing to join our efforts with you in the African continent in order to table conversations and push for foreign debt swaps in exchange for climate action. And this concludes this morning's efforts, without, of course, on which, of course, I would like to thank the government of Kenya for hosting us, for your commitment in terms of organization, social commitment, political commitment, educational commitment, and diplomatic commitment. Thank you very much to this country, to our motherland, for hosting us here in your home. Let us continue building our countries and nations together and working as brothers and sisters until freedom, peace, and dignity become the norm.
Ladies and gentlemen, the joint press briefing by the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, and the Colombian Vice President, Her Excellency Francia Elena Marquez Mina, marks the end of a successful bilateral political consultation. This paves way for the departure of Her Excellency of a luncheon in her honor and undertaking of a business forum. Good afternoon.